Never in the history of Uganda's presidential elections has this ever happened. Police and the army firing live bullets at a presidential candidate's convoy. The degeneration of this season's process into a violent affair proves right analysts who had opined that Uganda is not ready to hold an election in a pandemic. 54 people are dead so far in the violence, dozens more nursing wounds, and the police says it won't back down on enforcing COVID-19 guidelines put in place by the Ministry of Health.
The problem is with the candidates. If you don't want any of these guidelines, go back there and tell the Electoral Commission to change.
The police tone suggests the campaigns are getting more fragile. The opposition candidates are not showing signs of backing down either.
This is not war. An election is supposed to be people listening to different candidates and deciding who is the best that can go and manage their taxes for 5 years.
We got to continue pushing until such a time that we have prepared the population for Plan B.
Plan B, it is said, is former presidential candidate Kizza Besigye's strategy to cause regime change, allegedly by civil disobedience. With clear signs of further violence, election observers and analysts think
the Electoral Commission must halt these campaigns immediately and advise those political stakeholders to move their campaigns to media and digital platforms.
It has created tension, it has created a crisis, and I think it has accentuated violence. And that's not a good place to be. Instead of ideas football, you now see tear gas canisters.
This airtime should be allocated equally to all political candidates for the remainder of the campaign period. This can be an option to open campaign rallies and meetings that have proved to be too costly and difficult to manage under the COVID-19 guidelines.
But the media campaigns are an uncertain venture as opposition have been denied access to media houses.
And when they go to the media and digital platforms, the election management body should provide guarantees that these candidates shall not be blocked. Internet will not be slowed down when they are speaking via Facebook and YouTube and all these other social media platforms. If we don't do that, we are bound to see continued violence, but that is life-threatening, where people continue to lose their lives.
Saying that we confine people to meetings or to campaigns using virtual means would therefore be a disservice to the candidates who strongly argued for meetings of regulated numbers of people.
In the beginning, there were calls to postpone the elections because of COVID-19, something that had consequences, key of which being that the president would lose office to the Speaker of Parliament in May unless the constitution is amended through a referendum. Government would not allow that, and here we are in the middle of an impasse. With about 2 months left to polling day, an end to the deadlock looks to be far out of reach. Edward Mhumza, NTV.